Yeah, drag what's his name? Drag Justin the Penguin. We was talking about some real shit.
Hello?
Yo, what's up?
What's going on, brother?
What's up, man?
Apparently you the guy, man. You was talking about some real shit.
Oh yeah, bro. I do a lot of different stuff like that, bro. How's your day going though?
I don't know what that is referring to. My day is good, man. How's you?
Man, I can't complain. I was just talking to them about Vanguard and BlackRock.
Oh yeah, people need to know about these things. These big ass companies.
Yeah, I was
Companies
telling them.
I'm also invested in myself.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's smart to be, man. I mean,
yeah,
BlackRock is owned by Vanguard. You know that, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So like, they have majority shareholder. Like, they're a majority shareholder in multiple companies, and it's kind of crazy what they're doing to the world, bro. Like, I've been trading stock for almost 9 years, and it's kind of crazy where
All
things are
behind
going.
profit over people.
Yeah, essentially, bro. It's a terrible thing, you know.
It's definitely people definitely need to get educated about it.
Yeah, bro. Like,
It's definitely
crazy,
a rabbit
man.
hole you go down.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. Go ahead,
It's
brother.
crazy.
Cook.
No, I'm just saying, bro. It's crazy, man. Because we're about to go to a cyber war with China. It's really insane, bro. I can't imagine what's going to actually happen, but we've been finding.
This has been cooking for a while.
Yeah, it
U.S.,
has.
China, and Russia in general, and even things like the Ukraine war have been, how do I describe it? Not scapegoats, but like they have been thumb wars to the bigger picture.
Oh yeah,
Like
definitely, man.
They've been political pieces.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one thing that I don't think a lot of people are thinking about is like, if you go look at Venezuela or all these other places, like, we don't know who really owns Vanguard. We know who the CEO is, but we don't know like who really runs everything, right?
Right, and the
So
CEO it extends. This is the thing though.
yeah,
Correct. We don't know who runs it, but we know what we need to know, and that's the purpose that they're running it for.
yeah, no,
and the effect of that purpose. Let's say we know who runs it, right? How they run it is the problem, not who runs it. Because we could. I'm not talking about violence here. That's not what I'm saying. Let's say the person who
Right.
runs it just like quit. How they run it still exists. So another
Right.
person would just replace them. So
right, right. Have you ever heard of divine right to rule? I'm sure you've heard of that, right?
a problem. That's been a problem.
Yeah, so like a lot of our presidents are related to,
Yeah.
for instance, like a king of England. There's like many years
No,
ago.
that's when you say something like that. First thing I thought of was like, people justifying leadership or positions of power because the man up top says so. I deserve it. I was born for it. So that's
Yeah.
a problem.
It makes me kind of wonder, where's all the money going? What is going to happen? Because, you know, banks have enough money currently that if they were to deploy all their money that they currently have, like within their own holdings, so trillions of dollars, they could wipe out the U.S. currency essentially. Like, they could cut it by 40%. And this is backed by data by the U.S. Department, like, of the Federal Reserve.
I'm talking out of my range here now, but I
Yeah.
believe that the reason they won't do that is because if I burnt my house on fire, it's not their house, right? So I'm trying to really come up with this metaphor. I
Right.
think they still have a hand in the water. They can't boil it yet. I think I think even if it's their pinky, is still in the water. Even if they're like their hand, they still have a hand in the water, so they can't boil it yet. 'Cause
Yeah, not yet.
It would still hurt them too. Even though it would kill the fish, their hand is in the water, right?
No, yeah.
And
Right
this
now.
is the thing about
yeah.
somebody like Putin, because Putin, being like sort of like an egomaniac, right? And you can tell this because the people around him are scared of him. It was a clip like one of his, I forget the role, the position of the guy. The guy was stuttering when he had to like challenge him or disagree with him. He's like they're scared of him. He's the kind of guy like you have to give his ego an escape route, or he'll blow the fucking world up to not fall on his sword.
He's almost dead anyways, according to other people. You know,
Listen, it's his ego and his pride. He one of them people like he going to die on his sword. He will die on his sword. and he will press the button to blow everything up, even if he will boil the water with his hand in it. He's one of those people, and that's why I think that the enemy of the enemy is a friend. That's the Russian China thing. I don't know. I'm talking out of my range here. I'm talking out of my range, but when you talk about cutting the dollar, I think that they really lose a lot here initially. And the U.S. does not have a history of being diplomatic. So you boil the water and the shark jump out and bite your ass. You see what I'm saying?
Well, yeah. Well,
the U.S. still has teeth. The U.S. still has teeth.
We have teeth, but the real teeth lies in the Indian trade route. So the India's like trade route. So if say they were to bite the reason, I think a big reason too, and although India isn't like extremely great allies with us, they're still good allies. And China gets most of its materials from I think it's Indonesia or India, whatever. India's trade out, right? And I think that really keeps them in play or in their own little cell, because if we don't keep them in that place, eventually they will secede. So that's the way I look at it, is that the India's trade route is really what's keeping them in place.
And we have a lot of control over that, is what you're saying.
Well, India does, and India is anti-China. Like the political speaking, like they're definitely anti-China, because China's tried to come over there and take their land. I'm sure you've heard of the little fight they had with soldiers. This was not many years ago. But just trying to take over their land they claim was rightfully theirs. But yeah, no, that's essentially what I think is really holding China to where it is, because they've been trying to take over that trade route for a long time, and it's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So
another piece, another finger in the water that is damn near stuck. They could, I mean, not stuck, but difficult to just burn over or something like that. They need it, right?
If they didn't have it, their country would go hungry overnight, essentially.
I mean, it's like that with a lot. I mean, I remember it was something like with it's so crazy how practical the world is at the end of the day. Like, we talk all these numbers and statistics, but you block off one river, you block off one trade road or something right here, and shit's done.
It's chess.
Or negatively impacted. Bad.
Chess, brother. That's what it is. Like when I worked at I was in the military for a little while. I'm out now, but I got a chance to work with some great leaders, and those people, like, everybody's old, like, oh man, these people have our worst interests at heart. But I'm telling you, from meeting some of these politicians, like either Ted Cruz, whether it be him or Nancy Pelosi, whoever, these people are playing a high level game of chess.
Yes.
I mean, it's beyond our knowledge.
Listen, it's oh my god. Okay, we talk about these people like politicians, right? People don't understand. There's so many popular talk people on the internet, and this is why I feel bad. I like play myself when I do entertaining content, and I don't get into discussions like this, because I know so much, but not in a way that my ego, I'm so important. But it's like I need people to understand the difference between a highly calculated person who moves with intention, purpose, is clear, concise, direct, strategic, systematic. You fucking named the word. The difference between them and the average person is night and day. Doesn't do it justice.
Right.
Let's get specific. It's the epitome of everyone's walking that way, so then you're still like insecure and don't have a lot of confidence. It's like, why is everyone walking this way? I don't know. I'll just follow that way that they're walking just because. Why are they walking this way? You ask somebody, I don't know. I saw the guy in front of me walking this way, and they say, "Oh, the guy in front of me is walking this way." Oh, the guy. Right, we know where that's going, right? Yeah. But people don't know. It's probably one fucking person, ultimately like 3 or 5, but 1% of the crowd, who's the reason that they're going that way.
Right.
Now we're using a basic metaphor here. But people don't understand. It's all around you. It's on your clothes. It's in your personality. It's on your plate.
Yeah.
It's night and day. And when you see them, for them, it's a way of living. So we may take a break. We may complain. We may kneel for a second and slip or something like that. But they don't allow themselves to. There are some that do. And I made this example with the Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell. Not to talk too deep into this, But a part of the
Right.
reason why he died and she continued, her father being, you know how about her father and the history of their family, right, and their connections.
I know a little bit, but because
Her father was connected with her father was connected with UK politicians. Somebody can correct me on this, but she was born into it, much like if her last name was Biden or Trump or something like that. But born into this structure, right? The structure of whether it be socio-political power, socio-economic power, you fucking name it. She was born with game or structure, right? From her parents and her parents' parents, etc., right? Now, Jeffrey Epstein was just for lack of better words, good at what he did.
Yeah.
Whether it was with money or with people, because he was a sociopath.
Yeah, as a deliverer. That's essentially all he was. A deliverer, like
pawn.
Yeah. Yeah.
And because he was not bred into it, he had less respect for the game, or less respect for the parties that be. I believe he was going to fold, but it was ingrained to her to listen. You cut off the tail to save the dragon, or you cut off the tail to save the snake, or whatever the fuck. She was willing to get cut off. She was willing to die in prison or whatever, because she knows that the snake must stay alive. He was not a part of the snake to begin with. He was not attached to the body of it or understood it, the structure, the system. So he could not put it before himself. He could not sacrifice himself for it because he was never a part of it. He was just pawned by it. You follow me?
Yeah.
And people don't understand this with life. It's everywhere. It's anywhere. Oh my God. Yo, we really talking right now, bro.
Yeah, man, this is a really good topic too. Like Jeffrey Epstein's a great place to start as far as like just really realizing that we're not even at the beginning of the spear, like we're not even at the beginning of the line yet. I think it's going to be really interesting because there's some of the people, if you read the 2,084 pages that was released, and I think this was like a year ago or two.
And what?
Documents related to the women in the trial towards Jeffrey Epstein, like the people, like the victims. Something really interesting was said by some politicians that there were video of these people committing deplorable acts.
Oh, for sure.
Man, I'm excited for that to come out. It's supposed to be coming out soon. That's something that's.
This is also what I mentioned about slipping earlier, right? I don't think everybody was on that creep time or like weird like that.
Yeah, probably not. Like a lot of people probably didn't even know.
But they were probably willing to use him or his skills, right? And the fact that he had that slippage or that weirdness about him, but he still had his skills, so they were able to use him. The skills also kind of kept him on a leash, but there's always leverage because of his skills and his connection. But the leash of his pedophilia, his weird ass, right?
Yeah.
It kept him on a leash, like, but he is also a risk. Are you getting what I'm saying? Like
he's a liability because
it's a liability.
He has the information.
Right.
Yeah.
But the same thing that makes him a liability is the reason that he can be the one pointed at.
Exactly.
It's perfect. Oh shit, you're very good at what you do, and you left your back door open. Oh my God, so we can use you and get rid of you when we want.
Yeah. Imagine how much money he had. Speaking of which, this kind of leads to Biden, actually. He got a whole bunch of money. You know that they've been uncovering his financial transactions in between the CCP and all that. And it's kind of crazy because he got money from a Chinese energy company, the same one that was within a bill that he had posed.
Of course.
I think this is really insane. Yeah.
Yeah, they probably lobbied him. But what are you insinuating from the?
Well, what I'm insinuating is that not just this company, but multiple others, like they're not in. And by the way, I'm not pro anyone. I don't like any type of politician. I don't like any of them. I want them all to get in trouble if they've done something wrong. To be clear. But
right is right, wrong is wrong.
That's right. It doesn't matter who you are, and I don't vote, none of that. But anyways, the point is like, I think that like it was not even but a few days ago, someone from the Department of Justice, like one of the lead people was like, hey, we got more information. We've been reading into his transactions, and it leads towards a long list of other questionable transactions through different countries and different companies that lead to the Biden family. Like, why is a energy company from the CCP giving his daughter, you know, $1 million. What is she getting $1 million? You know what I mean?
Catch this. And we would go off the spectrum a little bit by me saying catch this. But I'm a thinker. I just ask questions, so you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine that them making that transaction, and you know they call it out like, okay, this looks weird. Why are you giving his daughter this money? Why are you giving him this money? Right? On the surface, it may seem like, okay, you were paid to be used to give certain benefits to that company with the bill that you proposed, etc. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Just for a complete speculation and just boredom. Beneath the surface, he is in a position which is replaceable. Politician, president.
Well, he was a vice president
right.
at the time.
At the time, right?
Yeah.
But it's a replaceable position. What I'm getting at is, why him? If this position was replaceable, they could have did it to the last vice president or the next vice president. Why him? What skin in the game has he got to not be snipped like somebody like Jeffrey would have had been, or you know, etc.
And it's probably along the lines of those, you know, like evidence of him doing something or
him,
something like
right,
like bribery, almost like blackmail, I think is the word.
Right, blackmail, the things that they hold over each other, but
either that
there's
or
a
he
sort
just
of level
enjoys
of earned trust, right? Or he's just enjoyed it. He's just fucked up person. Like sometimes it's just that, like you're a sociopath, you're a control freak, you're an egotistical maniac, or etc. You know, ideally, you're trying to better your country. We know that don't go too well, but you know, ideally, that's just what it is. It would be that simple, right?
Right.
For one thing I learned in public opinion as well, I had a class focused on that. And one thing I learned about public opinion as well is people, this was back in the day. I could imagine now. But back before, like, let's say before 2010, right? Social media, all these distractions aren't so present.
Yeah.
People back then didn't even pay attention to what politicians were doing.
Not nearly as much. It wasn't even as available. Like the information that we have now is 10 times greater.
I was about to make an argument though. It is more available and accessible, but there's so many paths. Like it's like, you ever seen a movie where they're in like a labyrinth and there's 5 doors?
Different ways to go. Yeah.
See, back in the day,
might
it was
even lead to others.
Right. Back in the day, it was 2 doors. So it still was a bunch of doors, but let's say it's just 2 doors. Read the newspaper, watch the news. That's door number 1, and they make that door like you're supposed to walk through this door because it's sunshine, the grass is green, and then the other door looks like some dark, scary ass cave. So it's like, why would I go to that door anyway? Nowadays, it's 20 fucking doors. It's this person has information, this person has information, this person's conspiracy theories, this person is that, this person fights for this agenda, this person. Nobody can see clearly. Nobody can see broadly. Nobody can see anything. And I was just talking about this when I was like getting into Twitch content creation and the politicalness of it. I'm like, yo, this person's red pill, this person's blue pill, this person's this pill, this person's left, this person's right. Like, where the fuck are y'all going?
And it's not towards herself. Like, they're not even picking their own beliefs half the time. Like, most of the time they're going towards beliefs, although they might seem right to them, they're really not their beliefs. It's almost like they're trapped in the matrix. Like, I don't want to say it like that, but yeah, it's like they're trapped in that, you know.
There's a war, there's a war, you know, but I believe that the funniest part is it's 20 doors, there's so many small scales of the wars that it's like, what the fuck? Where do we want to go? I mean all of us. Russian, Indian, U.S. You know, maybe that's unrealistic. Right, the world. Maybe that's unrealistic, right? But I'm just saying. This is how I think. I don't pick no door. I'm in the building. What's up? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So you blow up the left. You blow up the porch. Like we all die. Nobody wins when the family feud. Same thing with Russia. It's something that Noam Chomsky, right?
Yeah.
He said in a podcast, this dude's like, what is he, 91 now? 80? He like maybe 90. I think he's 90 something. This dude said on a fucking podcast at 90-something years old, when the elephants fight, the grass gets trampled. And he was talking about the U.S., China, and Russia. Mm-hmm. And he said, who's the grass? And, bro, I never forgot that statement. When the elephants fight, the grass gets trampled. Because they so big, they stepping on the grass, you know, the elephants fighting. But it just was a crazy statement when you really think about it.
Yeah, that's really deep, though. Like, that's super insightful. But I think the main reason that we're never going to get there, and I'm not saying that we're never going to get there, because I believe we will. And let me tell you, I worked at a bank, and I learned something. And it was one thing that kind of changed everything for me, was that beliefs are, like, your beliefs are who you are. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Surprisingly, I didn't learn this in the Army. But, yeah, your beliefs are what you are. And I think that if people start believing that we can live in a world united, like truly, I don't mean United Nations.
I don't mean to cut you off, but why in the bank did you learn that? What about the bank taught you that?
The bank gave me the opportunity to learn about things that I just had never been guided on. In the Army, I dealt with that mindset of the warrior, never feeling my emotions, never, you know, and by the way, that makes you a weaker person, not stronger, at least in my opinion. It makes you weaker. You know, I read letters from a Stoic while I worked at that bank. And it was just the conversations, I guess, that I had with
so it wasn't the bank itself, it's the free time that you got from the bank, like working at the bank. Is that what you're saying?
Kind of. Like, I read it at work. Like, they gave me the availability to read at work, and that's something I had never had at another job.
Okay. I thought you meant working for the bank, like you called.
In a way, yeah. Like, it helped to further that belief, though. Mm-hmm. Because then I started to realize, man, I'm around all these political figures. I know the CEO of my bank. I literally still have his phone number. I could call him now. He's a beekeeper. He's a really great guy. So yeah, like, it's just a thing of, I had that free time.
You find some gems, right? You find some really good people in some good positions.
I always try to.
Gems.
Yeah, I mean, you can find some great people. And one thing about the bank I was working at, like, they even introduce you to the CEO. Like, I've always tried to look at companies that are thinking for themselves, not thinking necessarily with other people's opinion. And I think that's what a lot of the world does, whether it be religion, politics, whatever. People are not even looking at the Bible or whatever they believe in as their self and asking their self, is this what I believe? You know? And I think that that's really where the world is. And we can never have a world united, truly united, without using our own beliefs to believe in what it, like I said earlier, is the right thing. And the right thing for us is to be united. If we don't progress now, like, I think AI is going to change this. And the reason I think that is because if we use AI for the wrong thing, it's probably going to be the end. You know, eventually, not now, maybe not right now.
It'll start thinking for us.
I mean, Elon Musk even went on like some Fox News thing with Tucker Carlson, and he was like, hey, you know, if he was talking about his friend that was using AI and he didn't want to use it properly. Well, that guy is one of the head people at Google over the AI. You know what I mean? Like, that's scary. That's scary because there's no telling what these things can do. I mean, I worked on missiles in the Army. I didn't do no programming on them, but dude, like, the technology in those things is enough to wipe out an entire civilization, you know, if we just handle it wrong. And that's like anything. But the point is really that, you know, it's crazy where AI is going. I was talking about this with somebody the other day, about how I think there's only one way we can really make sentient AI, or at least AI that can understand health and everything. And that's to give it the availability to understand and actually take in pheromones from humans and understand what those feelings are.
You would mean like certain pheromones people release when they're changing
happy,
their moods?
angry.
Yeah, I was about to say changing their moods.
That's what they're going to do to people, and what I think, because I worked with, like, when I was a kid, I think it was like 16 or 17, something around that. This is before I went to the Army. I worked with this company called Bear Communications, and we were lacing down like fiber. And I learned a lot about how technology works with that company. And I mean, Nokia, by the way, Nokia, Ericsson, and Huawei are the only companies that provide 5G, like the 5G contracts, right? And Nokia went to Congress and talked about putting chips in people's head by 2030.
Oh, Elon Musk been on that.
Yeah. But what's interesting is this is a company that would do it.
I forgot. I don't even know what the
Neuralink.
That's what it's called, Neuralink. I made a video about that in before 2020.
Oh yeah. This has been going on a long time.
It was when he went on the Joe Rogan podcast to talk about it.
But what's crazy is they went to Congress talking about they're going to be the company to do this at a global scale. Nokia is a global company. So this is
ironically though.
Yeah.
You don't know if it's the iron fist behind the velvet glove, because when Elon Musk was first talking about it,
yeah,
he was like, "Oh, you know, if you have paralyzed from the waist down."
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the things he said. Paralyzed from the waist down, you can get your movement back, memory, etc. So it's like, oh my God. But it's like,
but what if they use that to control you the way that they use social media?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like,
because just because someone says that, oh, this company's doing bad, or they work in the DOJ, doesn't mean that they have your best interest at heart. You know?
Yeah, it's
this is where that think for yourself comes from. You know?
It's like the deal with the devil. It's the deal with the devil, I think. It's like, you know, you got super strength, but when you go to sleep, I control you. It's like, God damn, bruh. Like, I don't even want the strength no more. But
Exactly.
some people gonna take the strength, man. We just know it. And I think that I mean, we're pushing the pendulum of the conversation. I'm glad I stand where I stand as a thinker. And I hate to see people fall into it, especially as thinkers. And it's so tempting. Like you said, they defend these positions where they are recycling information for whatever reason. Maybe it's a side that they align most with on the surface, or for whatever reason that they do. But it just still stops them from seeing the bigger picture. Yeah. Also, they don't even know it. It's like, how did you find me? It sounded like you would have found me from like a video like the Allegory of the Cave that I did. Have you ever seen me talk about that video?
Dude, I don't think I might have seen it, bro. I've watched like probably 1,000 of your YouTube videos, but
it's fine. It's
yeah,
fine.
Bro. You got so many videos.
That was one of the videos where I went on shit like this, like where, oh, you know, in the example it was like the filter people attached to. It was a car example. Mm-hmm. Level 1, you're a passenger in the car. You don't control where the car is going. Mm-hmm. This is the important part. Where the car is going, the destination. And you go from the passenger, like in the back seat or just in the passenger seat, to the driver. So now you're steering the car, but you still do not control the destination. You're driving the car to the destination, but you didn't pick the destination. The third level is you driving the car and you can change the direction, the destination at any given point. And when people are stuck on the second level, that's when they stand for an agenda, organization, or something, and they just drive the agendas, the direction, or the whatever that company or that position is pushing. And then at the third level, you can question yourself. This level, I argued, was it coincided with enlightenment, because I use somebody like Malcolm X for this. Malcolm X's example, he's a part of the Nation of Islam, and then after that he went on a pilgrimage to Mecca or Hajj, and then he came back, left the Nation of Islam, and was like, yo, I seen Muslims that were black, white, young, Asian, young, old, etc., you name it. And to him, it stopped. It didn't make him any less of a black activist, but he saw a bigger picture. He changed his destination. At first he was just driving the car without changing the direction. And that's what I was getting at. Like, it's sad to see some people get stuck on that level, and now they're not a key player. They're damn near useless at this point. But I think, you know what? Let's change it a little bit of direction here. I think times are getting better because people aren't dying. They aren't killing people anymore.
Yeah, it's not like
people used to die. Straight up. You about to make too much change? You about to speak on something? Oh, you gotta die. Man, they was killing people, like, straight up.
Yeah, not long ago. This is not long ago. People are still alive that dealt with that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still alive.
Right, Chad. Keyword when he said not long ago. Not long ago at all. I know you might, Abraham Lincoln, John F. Kennedy, John JFK's brother that people don't know about.
John, yeah.
Right. You think all these people? No. It's much more recent than that. Like, but different conversation, man. Different conversation.
Man. But I'll be honest, man. I think the world will get better as we continue to open each other's minds. You know, you talk about relationships a lot. My wife's asleep right now, but we've been together. Today's our 8-year anniversary, but she's asleep now.
Shit, congratulations.
But, oh no, thank you guys. Thank you. We've been married for 4 years now. But you know, you talk a lot about relationships, and I find myself, even with my wife, you know, like we make jokes sometimes. We'll be like, oh, they won't last long. But only because we know, right? But we don't hate on, we try not to ever do that now. But we used to, I remember in the beginning of our relationship, just see how long people's relationships would last. Mm-hmm. You talk a lot about that. And a lot of the things I see in, you know, you're familiar with Aiden Ross and all those guys. I was watching him yesterday, actually. So, yeah, I mean, everybody talks about getting in a relationship. Everybody talks about doing these things. And let me ask you, what type of relationship do you look for? Because a lot of these guys, I feel like, you know, a lot of people are watching Andrew Tate, all those people. And I feel like that sort of stuff, like not you, but just Andrew Tate and people like that, is keeping them from actually succeeding. Do you feel that way?
Succeeding in a relationship?
Yeah. Like it's keeping them from actually getting into successful relationships. Because for me, you know, like, I'm just like, for me, I just was looking for someone to spend my life with as a spiritual person, you know?
Catch this though. We can't blame Tate or Aiden. Why? Because they're speaking from their position. If people choose to follow them and choose to take their perspective or their standpoint to replace their own life experience and own eyes, or to be more closed-minded, then that's that person's fault.
Well, you know what I think? I think their opinions are very open. I think it's very interesting because I analyze this because, you know, coming from my own standpoint, I was like questioning. I was like, wait a minute, is what some of the stuff they're saying true? You know, and it is, dude. When I was in the army, did I see that stuff come to fruition?
That's why people that I don't get offended by what is. It is what it is. The truth don't care if I give a fuck if I get offended. Only reason I don't stand with a lot of these dudes in their positions is that it becomes blanketed. It almost blankets and covers what it is. And for example, I had a call earlier in the stream where a dude said he was speaking on an issue like, oh, I don't trust none of these bitches. That, you know what he said. And it got to the point where he told, like, okay, the last girl did me wrong. I'm like, that's not fair to your next girl. You know, your last girl.
You're just cheating yourself out of
right.
it. Yeah.
So you blanketed your life, you blanketed your entire experience because of what happened to you last. If you did that, then the last time you failed, you would fucking quit. You know what I'm saying?
And I think that makes you a robot, not an individual. You're not an individual at that point. You're just a robot.
And he might think I'm talking about women and judging people, but this shit is how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you sit here and say, well, I'm going to predict this because of my last outcome, especially with something like human beings are damn near
unpredictable.
That's what I'm going to say. You could damn near equate a human being to Play-Doh. Like, you can mold so much. People are malleable. People can be changed so quickly and so influential. Let's not do that. Me and you both know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
The point I'm getting at, like, that's why I don't get mad at Tate them, because they're speaking true to an experience. But the key
I think
word
so many people get mad. Yeah, I totally agree.
Keyword is an experience, not the experience, but a experience, like an experience, and it could be from a guy's experience with a woman who is adopting modern ideologies or living to modern times. But I believe that when they dwell on those experiences so much, or that perspective of the guy in that experience, that men or even women in general, or everybody in general, forgets that there's more to life, to simply put it. Like, yeah, this last bitch cheated on me and she had 10,000 bodies, but my next girl might not. She might have more bodies than the last girl and be loyal.
Right.
She might, like, people are not being open-minded anymore. That's the real issue, is the closed-mindedness. Like, they're not wrong. Yes, people are very superficial. Yes, there are clout chasing and gold diggers and a woman who will leave you for the next guy at the snap of a finger. But there are women who will not leave you for anything.
Some women are dying for just someone to be, I guess, I don't want to say a real man. I don't want to sound wrong, but I'll say it like this, like someone that has good morals, ethics. You know, like there's women that would die for that, you know?
Exactly.
And that's why I got so lucky, dude. Like, it takes a lot of work on relationships. Like, people I don't think people talk about it enough, how much real work it takes, like disagreeing with each other. But I see so many young people and guys my age. I don't want to say young people like I'm old because I'm 22. But the thing is, like, I see a lot of guys my age screwing up on that. Like, they just think, oh, one thing goes wrong and the whole relationship is ruined. It's like a WWE streak or something. Like, oh, I got to restart the campaign. I messed up once. You know, like you don't have to do that. Like, just work on the relationship. I mean, granted, like for me, what made my relationship successful was setting the boundaries at the beginning. Like, hey, I don't want to waste your time. Don't waste mine. The only thing I really want in this relationship is don't cheat on me and don't go fooling around with anyone else. You do that, it's over instantly. But besides that, because you see, it doesn't matter what. Because one thing I think is that it doesn't matter what side does it.
Q Money with the 7 months.
Yeah,
right. And it's the bigger picture. It's the principle. Like you said, you were direct and clear about the principle. Like, okay, cheating bothers me. That's why. Because cheating in and of itself means you lied about your loyalty and you went against that. Now, if you were in an open relationship, you wouldn't give a fuck if she fucked other dudes. But you establish that it's something that's not okay with you. So if she goes against that, she broke your trust and your honor. And it's something you cannot live without.
I just wonder how many guys get in these relationships without just saying how they feel about it. Because I think a lot of people think that, oh, I'm going to look weak. I feel like it's suspicion.
The next suspicion is that even if I speak about it, what difference is going to make is she a manipulative, lying treesh anyway? But that's then what I tell guys. She'll show you who she is. Mm-hmm. You'll see it
every time, 100% of the time.
Red flags cannot hide. They can't. This is where if we go back to mentioning Jeffrey Epstein, people are who they are. No matter how calculated and strategic they are who they are. They always show themselves. You have to be ready to see who they are, and not emotionally blinded or too weak to stand up.
Right. Yeah, I think that was my biggest problem as a man. Something that I learned even in the Army was that some people are just too scared to say anything, you know?
Yes.
And I think that's what a lot of society is now. Communication is zilch. Like, nobody has it anymore because we're living in this world where people are judged for everything. So, and then that takes away from more of the individuality, you know, like being who you really are. And, I ask so many people, like, who are you? People can't even answer the question. People don't even know who they are anymore.
I'll tell you what I do. Not who I am. I'm going to tell you what I do. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's a part of who you are, People can't even, like, if you were to, look, I've met rich business people with more money than I'll ever have. And that's just the truth. And you know what? I always approach them like, hey, this is me. This is what I do. And I've gone to school for this, blah, blah, blah. But that's who I am, But people forgot how to network, essentially. Like, I meet people at my job every day because I'm in HR. And people just don't know how to communicate.
You know how to use what you do to show who you are. You're not standing on what you do. You're just using it as, like, this is a reflection. This is a shadow of who I am. Like, I'm into this. I'm doing this. Oh, so you're determined. Oh, so you see what I'm saying? Like, you're determined. You're a calculated person. You're decisive. Oh, you're consistent. Damn, you went from doing this to this to this. Okay, now these are saying things about you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, okay, you like challenges. You adapt well in other environments.
Yeah.
Etc. Do you think everyone can be a free thinker?
I hope so.
None of my business, but I just think that there are a lot of traps to free thinking, or not being a free thinker, I should say. And one of those traps is your own emotion. You can't look in the mirror. Good luck.
Very hard to, like.
Listen, Steve is a genius, man. He said people who don't want to look at the mirror, so they look out the window. And the person on the other side of the window can see you, but you don't see yourself. And then you're also looking outside of yourself. And then what else? When you look out the window instead of the mirror, it's easier because you don't have to face what's in front of you. Oh my God. It's easy, chat. Easy, hard. I don't even like to use these words because they're relative. It's easy or hard depending on who you are. And people choose the easy route. People choose comfortability and convenience. I mean, if the shift or direction of society is not showing you that, I don't know what can. Hard work is, like, frowned upon.
And it's hated on.
Right, and I think that's one great thing that Tate did is like get up off your ass, work hard, grind,
do something.
Stop fucking complaining.
Yeah, be a fucking man is what he would say. I know people would say that, and I know maybe it doesn't sound nice, but in the Army, that's what they say: be a fucking man. You know, and that doesn't mean be a misogynist.
because it means something.
Yeah, something to stand on. You know, that's what men are. Men have backbones, in my opinion. You gotta have a fucking backbone. You're an individual, but you can still be a part of that too. You know.
Mm-hmm. And I gave a speech at an event recently, New York, with a couple other members from the panel that I was on with Steve and them. And my thesis was struggle creates strength, strength creates structure. Wait, no. Fuck, I think I said something like responsibility creates struggle, struggle creates strength, and strength creates structure. And the whole point of the seminar was, what is a man? And the point was that a man takes on responsibility, and he, and responsibility creates struggle, everything I said. And that who benefits from this structure was his family.
Right.
His woman, his children, ultimately himself, right? But ultimately his family, but a part of that is himself, his family, who he interacts with. His legacy, you name it.
Yeah.
And being a man meant something. It didn't mean just, see, now it's such a political trigger. A man, all men this and all men that, and women this and modern women that. We got so many key words that trigger people. But being a man means something. In such a, I hate to even use the word that we used earlier because we talked about how divine right is so bad. But in a divine way, and by divine I just mean masculinity and femininity. And I won't equate masculinity with being a man because there are masculine energy in women as well. But the predominant nature of a man, it comes from his testosterone, his masculinity, etc. It's just natural. I don't make the fucking rules. Hate me for it because it's political. I don't care. But it's natural to a man to
it always
go
will
in
be
himself. Right.
Yeah.
It just is the way it is. I don't make the rules. Well, not the rules. The exception doesn't make the rules. And that's what it's leaning towards. Like the exceptions make the rules now. It's like, nah.
Yeah, no, it's a crazy world we're getting into, man. As far as these people just making their decisions. This was something I talked about the other day to a group of people. It was it's about how people, the biggest problem, I think, like one of the biggest problems out of the many is lack of accountability for oneself. And that's what we're seeing with people. Like if you don't.
Oh no, but if you take accountability, that means it's your fault.
It's multiple things.
That means it's your fault.
Yeah.
Fuck. Can't be my fault. Let me blame something else.
And it's so easy.
It was your zodiac sign. That's why we didn't work out in our relationship. It was your zodiac sign. It was, what else do they blame? Men will be men. Not you chose to be who you are. No accountability. Like there's just no accountability on anything. It's not your fault. To hell with that. You should want accountability. If it is your fault, that means it can be your fault when you succeed. And I don't think people realize that. That's the other end of that stick. Is that, okay, you blame something else, so you feel better. But you're also putting the outcome on whatever you blame. I'd rather put it on myself.
Right.
Shit, if I don't eat tomorrow or I lose money and I blame my cat or some bullshit.
It's illogical. It's unreasonable.
I can't control the outcome. Now, I do believe in things happening for a reason and there being a universal plan in the end. But this is why I focus on what I can control and what was given to me or allowed to me temporarily, such as my body, my mind, everything about me. We don't own anything. We don't even own our bodies. We were given our body and we will have to give it back when we die. But I'm going to use it while I'm here. I'm going to use everything I have. To hell if I don't.
I mean, shit, it would be stupid if you didn't utilize your resources. That's what I feel like. I mean,
come on now.
Yeah, no, I think I think the world will get better. We just gotta keep working together as men and as, whatever you are, work together, and that's what a relationship is. It's teamwork. And if you guys can't communicate or you can't you can't do something, you got to blame. You can blame each other, but looking at yourself first is more important, especially if you're a man, because women, they say testing, right? I don't want to call it testing, but they do things, right? They do things, whatever you want to call them. And that's every time they do something is an opportunity for you to showcase your leadership, to showcase who you are, and to set boundaries and do
It's
these
supposed
things.
to touch you.
Yeah, no, it's human nature.
On you. Yeah, they're gonna be dependent on you or rely on you. Not even just financially. People always make it financial, or they equate a man to a pocketbook or a purse. Or a wallet. I don't know what I'm saying. These other items, right? They equate a man to a wallet. That's part of our capitalistic direction in society. Money is everything. So a man is worth as much as he can pull out his pocket, and a woman is worth as much as she has opened her legs. Okay, so we go back to that. A part of that is something wrong with me as a man. It got to do with my money. I just ain't got enough money. If I have enough money, everything will be right. She gonna love me. My family gonna be good. It's not the money, man. That's just an aspect. It's just a part. It's a part. It's your outer world is a reflection of your inner world.
Mm-hmm.
It's a part of you, man.
Right. Man, I'm telling you though, I think that's pretty much. I mean, that's pretty much to sum it up. Really, what the problems are to me. But yeah, I mean, I will say this: like, I think it made me more of a man to go to the army. Made me more of a man to take care of my wife, and made me more of a man to admit that like I didn't have a dad growing up. Right, I had a stepdad, and I had like 2 stepdads, but. Like I had to teach myself, and that's what a lot of these guys are that come in places like this are teaching themselves, and a lot of people are. So and I commend anybody on that because it's hard, dude. It's hard to understand this stuff. Like it takes help. Like I don't even call myself a self-made man because I'm not. Like I'm just dude. I come from people that have taught me, because your leaders are everything. Like you got bad leaders, bad role models.
My opinion a little bit different on this whole self-made thing, because at the end of the day, you chose to be a man. You could have went to the army and got nothing from it. You could have went to the bank and got nothing from it. So you could have had your life experiences, your opportunities, and chose to do nothing from it. Now these things have contributed to yourself, but I'm gonna pay myself respect. Self-made. I take full accountability for who I chose to be. I could have wasted my mother's insight. I could have wasted my father's wisdom, or I could have wasted all this. But I made myself who I chose to be, and they helped me, and they benefited me in beautiful, blessed ways. That's how I look at it. Still self-made. Nobody can make you anything.
Right.
Talk about politicians, right? Look at how they put their kids in these schools. Sometimes they ain't got it.
Of course, yeah. I mean, just look at Arnold's kids. You got the really jacked dude, and you got the really fat guy that was raised by his mom. But what I mean is like no one gets there without not really mentorship, but without knowledge. And a lot of the time, and you can't get knowledge from within yourself. I mean, you can. It takes time. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But as far as like building yourself, we all have someone that we've learned from, because everyone, even if they're stupid or whatever.
I'm a sponge.
Exactly. So like I attribute all my success to the things that I've sponged from. But you're right. At the end of the day, if you're a failure, you can't blame that on other people. You know what I mean? Like you can't. It's impossible, because guess what? Everything is your fault. That's the way I look at it. Almost everything. As a man, if you're weak, if you're getting bullied or something's happening, you can't control what other people do. But guess what? You can control if you go to the gym. You can control if you get off your lazy ass and go for a damn 10-mile run. I used to do that all the time. I don't do it now, but I still walk, I ruck, I do all that stuff. So,
Fight back.
You can do it. That's essentially what I think. But yeah, man, this has been a wonderful conversation, Ty. I'm glad I got to talk to you, man. I watch your stuff all the time. So,
for sure, everybody, there's gonna be a lot more substance-filled things coming for future, and chat's been sitting here the whole time. So. This held y'all more than the E-Day. I mean, it depends on the crowd. I appreciate y'all for being here too. But that's where I'm getting out of, bro. I'm getting out of that entertainment fast life. Like it's just for who I am and how I think it's beneath me and what I want to do with my platform.
Yeah, because I don't know what it's like. I don't know what it's like to do, Twitch and YouTube and all that. That's a dream, But of course, anybody can make a dream reality. But I definitely think that you got a good thing going for yourself, and you're definitely successful in your own regard. So I'm just glad that you share this information with other people, because it's.
So you help bring it out.
Trying my best,
bring
man.
it out with this conversation.
Yeah, man. I really appreciate everything. I'm gonna let somebody else hop in here, man. But it's been a pleasure talking to you. Hopefully, man, you keep spreading love and everything else. But guys in the chat, thank you everyone for the conversation.
For sure.
Y'all guys take it easy. Peace.
All right, brother. Oh. I love to see everybody that's here right now. How long was that conversation, chat? Probably like almost an hour, right? I'm telling you, just let you know. You don't know who knows what. All the shit we just talked about in that conversation, I bet you is half of the stuff y'all have never seen me talk about on camera. It's so much shit that can be brought out, and I want to bring to YouTube or discuss or direct people towards. I gotta really lock in, bro. I can't do no more. I cannot do no more like shit that is beneath my purpose. Like, that's entertaining. It's entertaining and it's fun. Don't get me wrong. But it's a limited amount of time here, man. If you don't get groovy now, it's almost too late. You dig? And chat, I want to do more calls tomorrow, but I do have something I need to handle tonight. So, it's consistent Quondo, daily streamer. We're going to be back at it. 110%. We're going to be back at it. Keep it a bean. For the plugs, the only thing I want to post is the conversation I had with the one guy. Fuck. Which one did I say I was going to post, chat? Remind me now. It was one guy. The window guy. Okay. If a plug is watching, that's the only thing I want to keep. Y'all can have whatever y'all want. You know what I'm saying? It's a plug. I think they page name like more TyKwonDoe or something. They be cooking. They edit this shit. They fucking they do their thing, man. They edit. They make their thumbnails. Like they be grinding. They be hustling, man. That's a plug that honors what they do the right way. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to stream, man. Y'all gonna get a lot more of this, a lot more substance. See, y'all thought the substance was there. Y'all thought it was there. But I told y'all it was only 5%. Didn't I tell you that? Didn't I say something like that? Like, y'all thought all the topics that was being discussed on the channel, seduction, charisma, charm, that shit was 5%, nigga. Taking it easy. Being inconsistent. The gas is on the brakes, man. I mean, excuse me. The gas is on the brake. The foot is on the gas. I'm trying to tell y'all, man. We going 1,000 miles per hour. We shooting out of the solar system.